Alright guys, this is Will with Cruiser Design and Manufacturing, back for another lackluster install video. So today I'm going to be showing you how to install the shifter trim plate. If yours was anything like mine, which I don't have it in here, it was very bubbly, cracked, you know, it's lasted 24 years and it's done its job. So today we're going to be putting in one that I've 3D printed. We've got the plastic inlays here to show the colors, so the backlight does not actually shine through here, but you do see the red indicator down the side. And I'm going to show you how to install that easily, because you know you can watch some videos on YouTube about taking these dashes apart, and the tricky part is the overdrive button here, and a lot of people might not want to deal with that because you either have to snip it or you have to try and unhook the connector, which is way up under the shifter. So I'm going to show you how I'm going to do it. And every one of these I ship comes with a little Wago terminal like this. So what that does, all you're going to have to do is snip the overdrive wires here, about right here, and just strip them back just enough to be able to shove the copper in here. So all you do is slide the wire in, snap this in, and then you're good to go on both ends, because there's only 2 white wires that go down through this shift handle. And once you do that, you know, if you ever have to take it back off, all you have to do is pop these up, pull your wires out, pull your shifter handle off, and then you don't have to worry about unclipping that connector if you ever do have to get back in here. So to start off, all you're going to do is take off your TK shifter knob, which I of course have a 3D printed one. These are for sale on the site in whatever color you like, with whatever letters you like. The next thing you want to do is turn on your car, shift to neutral, and then unscrew 2 screws on the front of your transmission shifter. Now I've already done that, and you can kind of see there's some wires sticking out here because I've kind of, you know, already done this, but I want to show you guys, since I'm starting to ship these out, how to do that. So all you got to do is unscrew the 2 screws here. Actually, sorry, I'm getting ahead of myself. Shift to neutral, get your ashtray out of the way. I have a switch panel mounted on here. Normally you'll just be able to push it in, of course, if you don't have anything there. You want to kind of grab here if you don't have my cup holders. If you do have my cup holders, you can kind of use those. I mean, they're pretty strong. Just tug up there, start to wiggle things up, and you want to unplug all of your switches. So there's 2 here for the heater, there's 1 here for power and start and second, and then of course you have a plug for your AHC controls if you had that. So once you've done that, the next thing you want to do is just kind of shimmy this up and out of the way. I'm gonna have to pull this off, but all you would do is shift your shifter to neutral, and you should be able to pull this whole thing off. So I'm just gonna manually do it here. Make sure you have your parking brake on. And then you can pull this whole thing out of the way once all those plugs are disconnected. So you've done that, and your shifter's still sitting here looking like this. You're gonna unscrew the 2 screws here in front, and this is what the front of your shifter looks like, and it's got 2 teensy little screws that look like this. It's just Phillips head. Then your button in your shifter, which looks like this, is gonna pop out as soon as you pull up, so make sure you hold on to that. And then you'll notice that these overdrive cables are actually ran through this metal shifter all the way down. And even though you can pop off this case here, your old shifter bezel, the wires are still ran through, and you won't actually be able to get it off. So the wires, if you can see down here, they are run underneath through this pole here, down and around to here. Now I've already got these loose. The shiny black one on mine is actually the wires for the indicator bulb that's up under here. The other one, the kind of more matte plastic, are the two, is the shielding for these two wires. So all I did was, they were tucked up under this little clip here with this other pair of wires, like that. And so all I did was I pulled both sets out. I found which one was the correct shield because by just pulling up on my ship knob until I felt tension, you know, because it started to wiggle. And then I snipped right here. So now you can pull this out because your wires are loose. And then you just kind of wiggle your clips out, and all it is two clips here and here. And once you get those all well and done, you can see my shift block is taking a beating. Now you have your free panel, so you can take your new one, pop it on. Should fit like a glove. There you go, beautiful. Now the next thing you want to do is strip these wires and strip the two wires here on the end of your shifter. That should make things easier. Although I guess, you know what, I'll actually do that after I get this back through. It's kind of a pain to fish this all the way back through. You just want to grab the two wires and push and push and push until they kind of bond up. And you'll notice that I pulled the black coating off of them that was in here. Not sure where that went. I think I threw it in the floor, but it had a black coating on it just like this. I'm sure you just watched me do it. I just yanked that right off. And you kind of have to feel up under the shifter for these wires. And this is the best part. There we go, they're coming through. Gotta do some gymnastics with my fingers. And sometimes pulling them out and then pushing them back in helps. Goodness gracious. Sometimes nothing helps. And once you get them both, there we go. Just slide that back on. There we are. Alright, so I lost some footage from the last video, so you'll notice things look a little bit different. But to finish up what was happening, all I did was, after I got the wires pulled down through the bottom here, all you want to do is kind of loop them through. If you can see where my hand is here, right behind this piece of plastic, you want to loop the wires. So you can see both of these are ran through. Now once you get them down there, all you have to do is strip each wire about this much. Let's see if I can show you that a little closer. So that's all I did. I just stripped it a little bit, twisted, and shoved it into this quick connector. And that's it. So once you get the wires all the way pushed down, I'll unscrew this again just to show you how that works. Just gonna go ahead and pop this off. As much fun as this is, just for you guys. And you'll notice this button's gonna come flying out if I pull up. Bing! You got your spring there like this. So let's say you pulled this whole thing off, you know, and you had your wires out like I showed you in the video, then you shoved them back down and pulled your wires through to push this thing all the way down. You did your wire stripping down here. You pulled off both of the coatings. I guess I shouldn't say coating, it's really just a wire wrap. You pulled that off, stripped all 4 wires and shoved them back in. It doesn't really matter what orientation these are in, because this is just a a switch, this OD button. So it's really just two metal contacts, and when you push the button, they close, and when you know, push the button again, they open. So it doesn't necessarily matter what orientation the wires are in. So you do that, and then this thing's still all loosey-goosey here. You're gonna take your, let's see, let me make sure I got this in the shot. You're gonna take your button just like this. You're gonna lift up, put your button in with the spring facing forward, push in all the way, and then just push all the way down, and then you can let go of your button and it stays. You take these little screws, go ahead and screw that back in.
There's one. There's two. The only reason I don't have colored letters in here anymore is because I actually took that other one out to sell.
Now, our button is back in. Our OD button works. I'd love to show you, but the light on my dash cluster is actually burned out, along with the D indicator light that nobody seems to have. Isn't that lovely? So, we've got our switch back in. I'll go ahead and I'll just tuck these wires back up a little bit, like that, where they were. I'm going to leave this one just like that. It's not really going to move around much. Nothing down there that's super dangerous for it. Should be fine. So, it's time to put our dash back together. We'll just pop this back on, wiggle it over our T-case rod, bring my plugs back up, connect these. One of them is black and so is the switch, and the other plug is brown, matches the switch as well. I'll show you that. Just like that. And then I'm just going to push the whole thing forward to align these slots here. And then if you have my cup holders again, you'll notice I have to kind of twist this down and get that bottom right corner in. Push everything down. Give it a few love taps. There we go. So, now we're just plugging stuff back in.
Switch down back on there. And don't have to put the sticker back on. You'll be surprised at how strong these threads are for 3D printed plastic. Cool.
One of the things you'll notice, and a lot of people have kind of been concerned about, is I don't have a cap here like the original did, because I noticed that either got lost in my case or broken, etc. But this little slot here for that shift lock should fit your key perfectly. Of course, it'll also fit the flathead screwdriver just fine to activate the shift lock. Of course, it might have to be a little bit longer than that. This one is specifically for this ratcheting screwdriver. But that way, you don't have to worry about popping off some tiny little piece of plastic and breaking it, of course, and then having that ugly white shift lock showing. Not that I've ever used it or I know anybody who's ever used it. But yeah, see my grimy buttons. You'll notice I'm missing my AHC switch panel. This is an LX470, so I did have that, but I ripped that out. Gonna make something to go here. I'm thinking maybe like a tray that would stretch this way for your phone, something like that. Maybe just a little ashtray cubby kind of thing. Who knows? So these are available now. If you have any questions or concerns, definitely give me a shout. And every one of these does come with one of those quick connect terminals, so you don't have to worry about wiring. All you got to do is strip the wires just a little bit. Thanks, guys.